1. Gympie-Gympie. The Gympie-Gympie, often called the suicide plant, delivers a sting so agonizing it can literally break the human mind. This Australian rainforest shrub is covered in microscopic silica trichomes, acting as tiny hypodermic needles loaded with a highly stable neurotoxin called moroidin. Brush its deceptively soft heart-shaped leaves, and these glass needles shatter deep into your skin. The neurotoxin severely disrupts your pain receptors, tricking your nervous system into sensing an unending chemical fire. The point of no return is irreversible. A drop of sweat or a slight shift in temperature reactivates the embedded hairs, triggering fresh waves of agony that can last for years. It is a chilling reminder of nature's permanent memory, where a single touch alters your life forever. 2. Manchineel Tree. Moving from the rainforest to the coast, the Manchineel Tree stands as Earth's most dangerous tree, hiding a sinister defense behind the facade of a sweet-smelling beach apple. Every inch drips with milky sap containing phorbol esters, highly reactive compounds that violently strip away human flesh. You don't even need to touch it. Standing beneath its canopy during a rainstorm allows tainted water to blister your skin. Bite its tempting fruit, and the climax is horrifyingly swift. A peppery sweetness gives way as your throat swells shut and your internal tissue simply dissolves. The Manchineel is a masterclass in passive aggression, showing how evolution weaponizes the very environment against us. 3. Jumping Cholla Cactus. Deep in the desert, the jumping Cholla cactus appears to actively hunt, earning its name from the terrifying illusion that it leaps at passing prey. This biomechanical marvel relies on loosely attached stem segments that detach at the slightest vibration or static shift. Each spine is lined with microscopic, backward-facing barbs acting like serrated fishhooks. The terrifying climax hits the second it makes contact with your skin. Moisture causes the barbs to instantly curl and lock tightly into your flesh, making extraction a bloody ordeal. It is a brutal lesson in aggressive hitchhiking, proving extreme environments force plants into violent, parasitic strategies just to spread. 4. Giant Hogweed. Some plants weaponize the sun itself, like the giant hogweed, which literally tears apart your cellular structure. Towering 15 feet tall, its sap is loaded with furanocoumarins, insidious phototoxic chemicals that seep silently into the nuclei of your skin cells. Upon contact, you feel absolutely nothing. The trap is set, and the plant simply waits for you to step out of the shadows. The devastating climax arrives when ultraviolet rays strike the tainted skin, violently activating the chemicals to bind with your DNA. This destroys your cell's ability to block radiation, causing weeping third-degree burns that recur for years. It is a terrifying evolutionary leap, harnessing a dying star to wage botanical war. 5. Sandbox Tree. While hogweed uses light, the sandbox tree turns reproduction into a high-speed fragmentation grenade, earning the nickname Monkey No Climb. Covered in menacing spikes, its real danger lies in pumpkin-shaped seed pods that utilize a mechanism called explosive dehiscence. As the dry season peaks, shrinking pods build agonizing mechanical tension within their rigid cellular walls. The climax is sudden. With a sound like a pistol shot, the structural integrity fails. The pod detonates, launching sharp seeds in every direction at 150 miles per hour. This violent dispersal strategy is a stark reminder that in the competitive rainforest canopy, survival requires unleashing indiscriminate destruction just to secure a patch of sunlight. 6. Velvet Bean. From explosive force, we enter psychological warfare with the velvet bean, which lures victims with a soft appearance only to drive them to the brink of insanity. Draping across tropical canopies, its pods are coated in brittle orange hairs, composed of the potent itch-inducing protein mucunane. When disturbed, these trichomes shatter into invisible airborne dust, perfectly evolved to hijack the peripheral nervous system. The point of no return is your first scratch. Friction drives the protein deeper, triggering a cascading histamine release that turns a localized itch into a maddening chemical fire. It is a brilliant psychological defense, exploiting our desperate need for comfort and turning our own hands into accomplices in our suffering. 7. Poison Ivy. Where the velvet bean strikes fast, poison ivy is the silent assassin of the undergrowth, deploying an invisible oil with a supernatural memory. Its primary weapon, urushiol, is a highly reactive compound that remains potent on dead leaves, clothing, and pet fur for up to 5 years. It doesn't strike immediately, The odorless oil quietly penetrates the skin, binding to cell membranes and alerting your immune system's T cells. The climax is a masterclass in delayed betrayal, manifesting days later as the body aggressively attacks its own skin, resulting in a weeping, agonizing rash. This creeping consequence is a chilling testament to nature's patience, perfectly content to let you walk away, knowing its revenge is already inside you. Number 8. Stinging Nettle. If poison ivy is a slow trap, the stinging nettle reduces botanical warfare to a microscopic, instantaneous scale. The plant's leaves are armed with hollow, silica-tipped trichomes filled with a punishing cocktail of histamine, acetylcholine, and formic acid. The mechanism is flawlessly engineered. Brushing the plant applies just enough lateral pressure to snap the fragile tips, transforming them into jagged, open syringes. The instant climax occurs as these needles plunge into your dermis, injecting the painful payload directly into your bloodstream to trigger an immediate, burning flare. It is a rapid-fire security system, reminding us that every inch of the wild is a heavily guarded fortress, willing to deploy chemical warfare at the slightest provocation. 9. Rosary pea. This microscopic violence pales against the cellular assassination of the rosary pea, which hides its lethality behind breathtaking beauty. Masquerading as a vibrant red and black bead, its tough, candy-like exterior conceals abrin, a ribosome-inhibiting protein 75 times deadlier than ricin. Swallow it whole, and it passes harmlessly as a dormant biological weapon waiting for a mistake. The fatal turning point is a single, hard bite. Cracking the shell unleashes abrin into the bloodstream, where it systematically invades cells and forcibly shuts down protein synthesis. As cells rapidly starve and die, catastrophic organ failure follows. It paints a grim picture of evolution's ultimate disguise, where the most visually appealing objects harbor inescapable death. 10. Castor bean. Much like the rosary pea, the castor bean thrives in decorative gardens, silently producing one of history's most infamous toxins. Its dramatic, star-shaped leaves conceal clusters of tick-like seeds, housing ricin, an incredibly lethal lectin locked inside a water-soluble matrix. The plant is perfectly content to exist in suburban backyards. The moment of irreversible destruction happens when a seed is chewed and swallowed, allowing ricin to cleave the victim's very RNA, halting cellular metabolism on a molecular level. It is a terrifying realization of our proximity to death, a reminder that we willingly plant biological weapons in our flower beds, entirely ignorant of the cold, calculated chemistry gestating just outside our windows. Belladonna. While castor bean targets your metabolism, belladonna, the deadly nightshade, blurs the line between medicinal healing and a hallucinogenic descent into fatal madness. Its glossy purple berries are heavily laced with tropane alkaloids, specifically atropine and scopolamine, acting as highly aggressive anticholinergic agents. The plant uses these exact compounds to completely hijack the parasympathetic nervous system. The climax of poisoning is a waking nightmare. As the alkaloids cross the blood-brain barrier, you lose the ability to sweat, your heart rate skyrockets, and you are plunged into violent, delirious hallucinations from which you cannot wake. Belladonna stands as a dark monument to nature's mastery over human consciousness. 12. Oleander. Belladonna hides in the woods, but oleander is the quintessential suburban killer, an evergreen shrub so thoroughly saturated with death that even inhaling its burning smoke can stop a human heart. Every cellular structure is packed with cardiac glycosides, primarily oleandrin. It thrives in schoolyards and highway medians, relying on intense toxicity to deter grazing. The lethal turning point is chemical and absolute. Once ingested, oleandrin aggressively binds to sodium-potassium pumps in the heart muscle, severely disrupting electrical signals. As the heart is forced into chaotic spasms before grinding to a complete halt, oleander serves as a grim warning about how easily we surround ourselves with apex predators disguised as landscaping. 13. Angel's Trumpet. Just as oleander hides in plain sight, Angel's Trumpet is an ethereal flower that doesn't just kill, it systematically strips away human free will. Draping elegantly with large blooms, it emits an intoxicating nighttime fragrance designed to attract moths, but carries a terrifying concentration of scopolamine, known on the streets as the zombie drug. The climax of exposure is uniquely horrifying. Victims who ingest it do not die immediately, but instead fall into a highly suggestible, zombified state. They experience total retrograde amnesia and a complete loss of autonomy. It is a chilling exploration of the fragility of the human mind, revealing that an elegant garden flower possesses the chemical exactitude to erase our identity entirely. 14. Monkshood. Finally, Monkshood, famously dubbed the Queen of Poisons, stands as a regal, venomous relic of ancient botanical warfare. Its stunning, hooded purple flowers are shaped to allow only specific bumblebees to enter, while its sap is loaded with aconitine, a potent neurotoxin that forces sodium channels in human cells to remain permanently open. Even casually picking the flower without gloves can be fatal, as the toxin easily absorbs through the pores. The terrifying climax begins as a creeping numbness in the fingers that rapidly spreads, signaling systemic paralysis and impending ventricular fibrillation. Monkshood is the ultimate symbol of the wild's unforgiving rules, a silent killer punishing ignorance with catastrophic heart failure. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you already know what to do.